Update. Am I the a-hole for moving after winning full custody of my sons? Original story. My wife and I got a divorce last year. Our relationship failed after she was charged with felony credit card fraud and ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge. She had been a stay-at-home mom to our 2 sons, 5 and 3, and had taken credit cards out in my mom's name to pay for God knows what. She shattered my trust. I work full-time and make a decent living, but nothing extravagant. I had no clue what my wife was doing until cops showed up at my door with a warrant and took my wife away in cuffs and took 2 laptops as evidence. When I got the full story, I filed for divorce immediately. Aside from being a criminal, she was a good mom. She tried to justify what she did by saying she was just doing what was best for our kids, which I felt was total BS, given that she never mentioned wanting for anything. And anytime she asked to spend on something, I almost always said yes. I hired a good lawyer and asked for full custody of my kids. My ex begged me not to do that, saying she needed her kids. But she was still looking at up to a year in jail, and nothing her lawyer said could sway the judge to grant her anything more than supervised visitation. She ended up doing 90 days in jail, paying some fines and restitution, but I've allowed her to see our sons almost every time she's asked. The last year has been total hell, but we've made it work. Then a few months ago, I was offered a much more lucrative position a few states away. I talked with my lawyer about what it would mean if I moved and what the process was, and he said that since I have full custody, I have to file a petition with the court to move. So I told my wife what I wanted to do, and she exploded. She claimed I was stealing her kids from her, that she's made a lot of strides to get herself to a better place, and that she would fight me tooth and nail for her kids. Well, I filed a petition, got to go ahead from the courts, and accepted a job. When the judge gave its ruling, my wife burst into tears and began sobbing. It was heartbreaking. I know in my head that I'm doing the right thing for my sons. They're young enough that a move like this won't be too traumatic. But I also feel like their lives have already been completely overturned, and I'm just adding more to that. As for my wife, she's a wreck. She has been begging me to reconsider the move, trying everything from guilt trips, manipulation, bargaining. It's like she's going through the stages of grief. But from my point of view, she did this to herself. She lied and broke the law. I have very little sympathy for her. I know at some point she will probably try to file for partial custody, and I'm prepared for that. For now, I'm just trying to do what's best for me and my sons. Does that make me an a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. This is tough. The divorce and getting full custody? Fully deserved. Not an a-hole in that account. Moving to another part of the country where she'll have no contact with them? I'm not so sold on this. I think that you're still in pain and resent her, and rightfully so. But I'm not sure this is the best you can do regarding your children's relationship with their mother. Does she have any possibility of getting a job? Of moving? Or is she a financial mess as well? And what are her living conditions like now? Have you gone to therapy? Let me be clear. She did what she did and she's been held accountable for it. You've got a right to move from a legal perspective. But moving, when you know she can't do the same, will massively screw her relationship with your children. And it will only lead to more anger, resentment, and pain. I don't know her full financial situation. I know she's working a couple part-time jobs and has a small 2-bedroom apartment. Whether or not she could move, I don't know. She's under probation, so she'd need to apply to move anyway. My new job pays over twice what my previous did. It's a huge opportunity for me to provide a better life for my sons. I don't want to sit around here and wait for my ex to get her act together. Y'all know this begging for a gender-reversed situation. Holy crap. People are actually calling him an a-hole. OP is not an a-hole. Please, all you moms out there need to let go of your biases. I'm a mom, and all the YTAs sicken me. The mom didn't make a mistake, or a one-time bad decision. She's not a good mom. She knowingly and ongoingly committed a major crime against her own mother-in-law. A crime that directly affected her kids. Her willingness to do this, with no remorse, shows her character. A good mom doesn't choose clothes, makeup, and toys over her children. They just don't. Info. How are you going to maintain your son's relationship with her mother? Does she pay child support? If you alienate them from her, she will resent you. She may eventually be able to go back to court with a parental alienation claim. I'm reserving judgment. I haven't put too much thought into that part yet, But I do not intend on completely isolating them from her. If she can figure out a way to see them, I will not prevent that. I imagine holidays will be something we need to figure out as well. But like I said, I do not intend on preventing her from seeing our sons. She has court ordered to pay child support, but so far I haven't seen a dime, and I have a desk. Edit. Thank you to everyone who commented, even the ones who called me a heartless a-hole for taking my sons away from their mother. This post has given me a lot of perspective and I appreciate that. A couple things I want to clear up that I keep getting asked about that I wasn't able to include in my original post. 1. The area my sons and I live in is a smaller community. Not everyone knows everyone's small, but close. The crime my ex committed was news here as it was in the paper. People know about it. I get weird looks when I'm out in public. People have stopped inviting my sons to birthday parties, and I don't want my sons to be bullied and teased in school about their mother being a criminal. 2. I'm not going to permanently alienate my sons from their mother. I will make sure they are able to talk and FaceTime with her whenever they want. I will be the one who makes the drive back in order for them to see her until she is able to make arrangements to allow her to do so. I will continue to work with my ex to make sure she's included in things like birthdays and holidays. 3. I know my sons and I will all need therapy from this. There is no good mental health help available where my previous job is. My new job offers on-site childcare, and I will have access to counseling and therapy for myself and my sons that we would not have access to without moving. The schools near my new job are head and shoulders above the ones near my previous job. 4. If my ex gets her life back on track and is able to move closer to us, I'm all for it. If she does the things she needs to do in order to petition for shared custody, I don't intend on fighting her for that. But until she does that, I will not allow her anything more than the supervised visits ruled by the court. I will also not ask for any of the court-ordered child support. We won't need it. 5. To all the people who screamed, but she is their mother. Yes, and she always will be. And I remind my sons daily that their mom loves them very much, and that she wishes she can be with them like before. I am angry and resentful of my wife, but I work very, very hard to not let any of those feelings impact my sons and their relationship with their mom. And now for the update. I got a lot of people asking for an update on the situation, and since a few things have changed, I figured I would go for it. I did end up taking the new job and moved with my sons. We have been settling into our new lives quite nicely over the last month, and things have been going really well. My sons love the new house. They have made friends with some other kids their age in the neighborhood. My job has been going really well, and I really couldn't have hoped for things to go better than they have. I got both my sons into a great therapy program, and the three of us have also been doing counseling sessions together. My boys have been adjusting amazingly well, and I'm so happy and proud of how they've handled this. We've also made 2 trips back to see their mother, since she's still in the process of figuring out what she will be allowed to do in relation to her probation. We've also been doing many video calls a week with her. My sons still don't understand why their mom isn't here with us, but they do seem to grasp that this is going to be their new normal. In comparison with how well myself and my sons are adjusting, my ex is the complete opposite. She is still very angry with me and thinks I'm a complete a-hole. She's frustrated with the process of going through the courts to be allowed to move. She's frustrated that I'm not willing to drive our sons back to see her as often as she'd like. She feels she's being marginalized in their lives and that I am pulling them away from her. When she was complaining about all of these during our last visit, I reminded her that all of those things are consequences of her own actions, and she blew up at me by saying I'm kicking her when she's already down. That I didn't need to take her sons away from her. I told her how well our sons are doing and how happy they are, and she should be proud of how strong and resilient they've been. She then started begging me to please move back so that she can be closer because she's not sure the courts will allow her to move, and the process is taking too long. I told her that wasn't going to happen, but if there is anything I can do with the court process, that I would be willing to help if I can. I reminded her that I haven't said anything about her not paying the court-ordered child support, but that our boys seem to be in a much better place already, and I'm not going to take that away from them. Every time we have a video call with her, as soon as she says goodbye to our sons, she starts asking me to consider moving back home. I tell her every time that it is not happening. I'm not a robot, and I do feel bad to see her desperate and distraught. But when I look at my sons playing and laughing with their new friends, I know I've done the right thing no matter the cost to my ex. How did she end up on the hook for paying child support given her status? It's a token amount based on her income. With my higher salary, I don't need her help to provide for our kids. But she hasn't made an effort to pay anything yet either. She's going to blame you when they take your tax refund, lol. She already blames me for a lot of things. We'll just add that one to the list. Just want to piggyback and say if she's not making an effort to pay child support in any way, likely no court would give her partial custody anyways. She's not showing she can support kids in any minimal capacity. Also, my father raised my sister and I alone, but courts ruled for 50-50 custody because of you can't separate kids from their mother BS. Both moms and dads can be incapable of being a parent. Her fraud history and subsequent emotional breakdown, as it seems, definitely puts her in the category of not being responsible enough for custody's sake. Keep up the good work. You sound like a great father. I asked this on the original post, but did your ex ever come clean about where the untraceable cash payments went towards? That's still a big thing that should bug you when it comes to trust with your kids. Encourage her to get therapy, and please pressure her into coming clean about that money, and get her to show evidence so she's telling the truth. She's made some vague statements about paying cash for designer clothes and other higher price items, but still not enough to count for all of it, and I still take most of what she tells me with a large grain of salt. That's concerning. Hopefully through counseling she might be able to get the courage to open up and admit where the rest of that money, your mom's money, went. This might just be me being paranoid, but if you don't believe she's telling you the whole truth, you might need to hold off on letting your kids see her if she gets the approval to move. That money could have gone to anything. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to pay for my fiancé's college debts? I've third male always been super careful with my own money. For most of my professional life, I earned a little more than a minimum wage and always kept my costs and lifestyle on low. I've been working since 16-year-old and never got a single debt on my name. Something I'm proud of. This past year, I got a very good job. I've been able to save a lot of money so I can finally buy my own house and stop renting. I've been dating her, 23 female, for 2 years, and I met her in one of my jobs at a college. She was a student there, and because of financial problems on her family, she had to quit college, leaving some debts behind. Her parents used to pay for her college. I've been living with her for 1 year now, and I pay for everything, food, rent, etc. After moving together, I feel like her parents kinda expect me to pay for everything related to her. And her father once asked me why I didn't put her back in college to finish her course, and I told him very politely that I couldn't afford it, since it was more than 50% of my monthly income and I had rent, food, and everything else to pay for, and we get zero help from them. Today she received an email from this college saying they will pass her debts along to justice and stuff, and she could negotiate. She then called me and said, I have something serious to ask. I need you to pay my debt. I said I don't want to, because this is a debt her parents made, not me. Also, her debt is almost 50% of everything I could save this past year, and it's a huge chunk of my savings. She is silent all day after that. Am I the a-hole here? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Run, dude. She's 23 and old enough to know how bills work. Run. I feel like he accidentally adopted her, rather than started a relationship. Right? Like, why isn't she working? Her father once asked me why I didn't put her back in college to finish her course. Is she your child or your partner? Info. Why is she paying nothing towards expenses? Yeah, agreed. This is so weird to me. Info. You pay for her food, rent, etc.? Where's her money going? Or is she just sitting around on her butt? Do not pay, and do not buy a house and let her take it over. Yes, at the moment, she has no job. She does most of the home stuff, cleaning, laundry, etc. Edit. I appreciate all your answers. Guess it's time to have the talk with her, and put all the cards on the table if we are really to get a future together. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for asking my wife if she's jealous of our daughter? My daughter is 15. She will be starting year 11 at school when the summer is over, and the school will be having a prom at the end of the year. My wife, 44 female and a senior accountant, was talking to our daughter about her own school leaving party. It wasn't called a prom back then in the UK, and she mentioned that she still owns the outfit she wore. She showed her a couple of pictures too. Later, when we were getting ready for bed, my wife noticed that her wardrobe was open. On closer inspection, she saw that the outfit she was discussing earlier was gone. She went into our daughter's room to see her wearing it and taking pictures of herself in the mirror. Obviously, having our daughter go into her wardrobe and trying on her things without asking was annoying, but I thought my wife's reaction was a little extreme. She asked, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" and demanded my daughter change out of it immediately. My daughter was almost in tears from how my wife spoke to her. I tried to speak to my wife about why she was so angry, but she just kept saying our daughter is not to touch her things without permission. I understand this, but I don't see why she's so enraged about it. My wife and daughter look very similar. They've even been called sisters in the past. Based on this, I asked if my wife felt jealous at seeing our daughter wear her dress. When I said this, she got even more upset and said she was going to sleep in our spare room. She isn't speaking to me today. Did I go too far with my comment? I'm just trying to figure out why my wife was so angry. You're the a-hole. The dress is probably something important to your wife, and she took care of it. And your daughter treated it like an accessory for her social media. People have some things that are important to them and won't let others touch it. It is normal, even if the person is her daughter. You messed up and should apologize. Edit for the people saying the mom screaming made her an a-hole. Of course her reaction wasn't the best. Yes, parents should be perfect. But if you ever saw a parent that never once was mad because their kid did something stupid with something they see has importance, then where do you live? And for the people saying the dad isn't an a-hole because he was just trying to find out, have you been in a relationship? Because the question when your partner is mad is usually, why are you mad? Not, are you crazy? Or something equivalent. Because a mother that is jealous of her daughter is crazy. Everyone sucks here. I think this is a story that would be told so differently from all 3 point of views. I agree with everyone sucks here. Daughter shouldn't have tried it on without permission. Mom shouldn't have cursed angrily at daughter. OP definitely shouldn't have accused mom of being jealous of daughter, like the turd cherry on top of your really crappy pie. A mess of bad communication. Everyone sucks here.